You are listening to Zimbabwe News. Keep listening to Zimbabwe News.
I've been reading reports for a few days now. What's going on, sir?
We are in a precarious situation where we have a government that is obsessed with abducting and killing its own citizens, negates its duties constitutionally and its obligations to the citizens of Zimbabwe, as is the case with the unpreparedness and the lack of focus regarding the coronavirus, the collapse of the economy, and of course, the continued capture of state institutions and using them for the purposes of aiding their corrupt syndicates and obviously looting the country and fortifying their hold to power. So we have a situation where we have a group of people that came into power as a consequence of a coup, rigged the elections, murdered people, and continue to brutalize the country into subjection.
And you know, I'm sorry that tonight I just got you at a late hour here. I know you were not prepared, but what has been happening today, yesterday?
Yes, obviously those that are on social media have been reading that I've been relentless in exposing the ills that are perpetuated by the Zanu-PF regime, and as a consequence, they have resolved not like to abduct me, and they've been raiding my home. And since Friday, in two different unmarked cars, they've come to my home in Borodale, Harare, and in search and hope that they'll capture me there. And naturally, I'm not in Borodale, and I've not been there for a few months. They've also, if you recall, sometime in December, that there were special agents that were deployed in South Africa. I'm one of those that was targeted, and they approached my home and found out that at the time they were looking for me in South Africa. I was in Zimbabwe. So I've made that known to South African authorities. It's being investigated, and the 6 people, agents, are no longer in South Africa, but doesn't mean we are safe. The regime is as deadly as the coronavirus against its own citizens.
How many people came to your house? You said on Friday. How many people came?
You see, it's difficult to count because you want to know who else is behind the dark glasses in a car.
Right.
So,
okay. And what were they uniformed? Were they not uniformed? What did they have?
Four people were observed by both members of my family and my workers.
And you said in an unmarked cars?
2 unmarked cars, yes.
2 unmarked cars. And what did they say? Do you know?
No, when they come, they don't introduce themselves. They find their way in. They subdue the civilians there. And when they realize you're not there, they pretend to have left, and they change direction and park somewhere else.
When you say they subdue, could you please describe what subduing is here? Is it tying people? Is it putting them under?
They just overwhelm you. It's in a thuggery way.
Right. Until you end up talking. Until you end up saying something.
No, you'll be shaken, and you're talking about a civilian. Once a civilian is shaken, they will say everything, and You have workers saying, look, I'm not going to work here anymore, I'm unsafe, I might be killed.
Do you think we could, at some point in time, have footage, pictures, anything taken?
What we've done, well, it's both not prudent to say, and it's also a restraining way, is we've deployed 4 hidden cameras around my yard and 2 within my yard. So we've also activated the alarm system. Whether it works or not, we don't have sufficient reaction teams.
Okay. Or maybe let me stop there. I don't want you to reveal your security measures. Maybe we stop there. We can talk outside.
Review everything, but at least the basic ones I have mentioned already. But as a military person, the best way is you incapacitate they would have to go to hospital.
So tell me quickly, are you still of the same position here that the 2018 elections were rigged? Do you not feel the urge or the temptation, let me use that word, to join PROHIBITED? It's over 2 years now, and Mnangagwa has ignored your calls.
No. You've asked 2 very different questions. The 2018 elections were rigged, and this is why in my papers I put V11s, I explained the issues, and they were, the judiciary, in my opinion, did not do justice to the matter. And given that it was a constitutional court matter, there was no option to appeal elsewhere. That's the apex court. I'll give you an example, a very brief example. For those that are familiar with the voting system in Zimbabwe, in a specific ward, you would get polling stations. At the polling stations where I voted,
thank you.
I went there with 28 of my family. I'm not talking about supporters and others. 28 of my family, relatives, cousins, uncles, and we went to that polling station. We all voted. 19 of them took photographs
of what they voted for.
Yes.
Of their ballots, yeah.
Of their ballots. And I had, on that particular polling station, I had 2 election agents in addition. Now I'm talking about these, I'm not talking about the supporters who were in the queues, who were very eager to see that were voted. And after that, during counting time, afterwards, I got 1 vote at that polling station, meaning I didn't even vote for myself. I'm just giving you an example.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, but I'm just saying the figure is quite yeah.
Yeah, now no, but they were so shameless in the manner that they did. So we demanded a recount. We tried everything, and naturally the vote would change suddenly. You've moved from 1 vote and now you have 200 and something. How does that happen?
Oh dear.
And they change in the face of it, but in the national tally, nothing changes.
Wow.
So it is a system that was highly compromised, a system that, you understand this, the process is not only compromised during election time, it's compromised before.
Right.
Ballot papers were deployed earlier, and of course, people were being compromised during the actual election so that the counting would be as they had already been predetermined by them. So the rigging was at multiple levels.
Wow.
So yes, the question as to whether the elections were rigged, they were rigged. This is where there's no confidence, there's no goodwill, and there's no mandate for Mnangagwa to claim that he's a legitimate president. I mean, only a shameless person would continue to preside over a country that has rejected him. So you can see there's no confidence by industries, there's no confidence in the markets, and investors, no matter the mega deals that they were imagining, none of them have materialized. There's no money, and they've basically fortified their position in looting minerals, diamonds, gold, undermining artisanal miners, the informal sector, ensuring that everybody is a victim except them.
What? Tell me something quickly.
Where on earth can you ever have a democracy that's born out of a coup? There isn't. Why is the army so obsessed in running this country? Where did they learn this? If they want, they should leave the army, go into civilian sector, and prove themselves and earn their political mandate on merit, as I did.
Dr. Shumba, I know I got you a bit late here. I would like to ask you quickly. Mnangagwa is changing the constitution. There's no doubt about it. He's most likely going to get it, right? Amending the constitution to become, and in this case, to assume supreme powers. He's going to be a monster president in the next few weeks. This week, I think it's this week, right? The hearings, public hearings are starting. But I'm saying here, right? You were in this system before, between 1980 and the 1990s. You saw how things work here. It's a brutal system. There's no doubt about it. What I'm trying to say here is, if Mnangagwa changes the constitution, he becomes a monster president, someone who controls everything. So the judges are his, every arm of institution in the country is his. We know right now he's paying journalists, even international journalists, he pays them. So he's going to control everything. So if he gets to that level, where he's got full control, he's got the yes, the say in everything, don't you think that is going to create a kind of democracy of his own kind of democracy, where he will allow you people like yourselves to continue talking, but the thing is, at the end of the day, he's got the final say. If you want to go into court, he controls the judges are his. Anywhere, they are his. So my point to you, sir, don't you think that his model could work? It could. I'm not saying it will work. What I'm just trying to say is it's his model. It's not our model. It's not what we want. But his model could work.
It's
hard question. I guess I don't know.
Attempt will not work. Just allow me some latitude in explaining. First, in the 80s, I was in school. I was in high school, and I was in school with Mtudinwe actually. But then I was in the Defense Forces, and then came there for schooling, and then went back. So I'm also a renowned business person. I have institutions that have started systems technology, tele-access. I co-founder of Econet with my former partner Strive Masiwa, co-founded Mascom in Botswana. So I am a businessman of note. So to say I was in the system, to the extent that I was in the military, but not in the echelons that were involved.
Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. If you're new here, please hit the red subscribe button.
But sufficiently senior to know the workings and what is pertaining and what gives birth to the current delinquencies. I can tell you that the minute the military entitled themselves to power and rights and exposed themselves to opulences, more pronounced when they were in the DRC adventure, where there was serious lack of accountability and looting, and the nation did not benefit. People died, but individuals pocketed minerals, cut deals, and cartels started. If you look at the teams that are in government now, they were all active participants in the DRC agenda, and so they've simply transferred the appetite for opulence into the Zimbabwean structure. But you must understand that the capture of state institutions has been long coming through a parallel power structure called the Joint Operations Command. You will not find that anywhere in the constitution of Zimbabwe. It's a parallel power structure of the military, which they use to basically run the country parallel to the official structures of government by the executive. Now, I was not in any of those. I was in Parliament as a member of Parliament for Masvingo Urban, and while in Parliament, I introspected on a number of these issues, both in my capacity as chairperson of Mines and Energy, where I exposed a number of parliamentary reports which show a lot of corruption in the mineral sector. I was also in the top committee of Parliament, which is equivalent to the Board of Directors of Parliament, the CSRO, and I was also the head of delegation to the European Union Parliament, the ACP-EU, during my tenure. So I'm a very accomplished legislator. I exemplified myself, and I know how the system is compromised. So indeed, the move to try and amend the constitution, but I must say at the onset, this is going to be the second constitutional amendment to the new constitution, which took place. The first one was in 2017, and I was the only Zanu-PF MP at the time that voted against it.
Or in 2017?
At the time, I was a deputy secretary. Yes, that's the first amendment where they pushed for the president to appoint the Chief Justice and his deputy. And I argued then, and the records will show, that once you do that, then you've captured the Chief Justice. You become the employer. And it violated the doctrine of separation of power, where we need the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature to be separate institutions of the state.
Enjoy what you just wrote. Please share for your friends to see what you just wrote. Thank you.
One, because of the whipping system and the numbers.
You are listening to Zimbabwe News. Keep listening to Zimbabwe News. Keep listening to Zimbabwe News. You are listening to Zimbabwe.